So as we see this now, I want to take a look now, and let's bomb into this verse in Genesis 6:4, and we're going to see if we can reveal some things here once we look at the Hebrew that have not been seen before. I don't know of anyone who's talked about this before at any level, and so I'm going to drop it on us, and we'll see what we can do. Now, here's the verse. There were Nephilim in the earth in those days, and also after that, when the sons of Elohiym came in unto the daughters of men, and they bore children to them. The same became warriors and tyrants, which were of ancient times, men of infamy. All right. The first thing we have to do is, and this is where my inquiry really got peaked, is we have to look at this word Nafaliym. Okay? Now, you see here in the slide, in the next slide here, I'm going to show you that Nafaliym is spelled Nun, Pei, Yod, Lamed, Yod, Mem, Safit. Okay? Again, remember, Hebrew goes the opposite direction, right? Hebrew goes the opposite direction. We read this way, Hebrew reads that way. And so when we look at these letters, for those of you who know the Hebrew alphabet, or Aleph Bet, Nun, Pei, or Fe, it's oftentimes called because it has two pronunciations, Nun, Fe, Yod, Lamed, Yod, Mem. So in English, that would look like N, P, H, Y, L, Y, M. And it's construed as Nafaliym. But when we look at the Masoretic text, when we look at the underlying Hebrew, what do we actually find in the Torah scrolls? We see the he. You can disregard that because that means the he. Then we have Nun, Pei, Lamed, Yod, Mem, Safit. So you have Nun, Pei, then there's no Yod. You see how in Nephilim there's a Yod there? But in this word, there's no Yod. Nun, Pei, Lamed, Yod, Mem, Safit. No Yod. The Yod's missing. So it makes no difference if you have a Masoretic pronunciation or not. The root word here is not Nephil, like Strong's would try to tell us it is. Let's look at the next slide. The word is Nafal. Nafal. Nun, Pei, Lamed. The Yod, Mem, Safit at the end, or YM, is the masculine plural. The masculine plural. So Nafal, the singular. Nafaliym, the plural. All right? Now, what does Nafal mean? It means to fall, to cast down, to fall away, to fall down, to be a fugitive, to be inferior, or to be judged. Now, was Seth or the sons of Seth considered inferior? Were they fugitives? Did they fall down? Were they cast down? These are all questions. I don't think you can show any scriptural support to say that the sons of Seth were somehow fallen down or fugitives. I don't think you can say it. I don't think there's any scriptural support for that claim. A ton of scriptural support for the idea that the watchers were cast down, that they were fallen, that they fell down. In fact, they're construed as fallen watchers in the book of Hanok, and in the book of Yovelim or Jubilees, and in the book of Jude, and in the book of 2 Peter, right? The Nafal here is the word that appears here. I didn't put it here. This is the word that appears in the text. It also appears in Numbers 13:5. This Nafal, in fact, you'll see Nephilim and Nafaliym in Numbers 13:5, the Midbar 13:5. Okay? Both of them appear in the same verse. And it describes the fact that Anach was descendant of the fallen ones. That is to say, the Nafaliym. And the Nephilim were descendant of Anach. So what you see is you have this idea of the Nafaliym, the fallen ones, being the progenitors of Anach, who was one of the fathers of the Nephilim. Nafaliym breeding Nephilim. Okay? So, all right, let's move on. Let's take a look and let's see. So, therefore, the fallen ones or fallen fugitives Nafaliym are in the earth in those days. That's the way the passage can very easily be read, given the use of the word Nafaliym. The fallen ones or fallen fugitives, the Nafaliym, are in the earth in those days. You see, not Nephilim. So when you see this, when you look at this order of the verse, right, it says the Nephilim were on the earth in those days. The sons of Elohiym had relations with human women. But how can the Nephilim, who were the progeny of the fallen watchers, have relations with the human women? But if we're talking about the fallen watchers, the fallen fugitives, those who had given up their heavenly estate to be on earth, these fallen fugitives were on the earth in those days, the sons of Elohiym, the Beni Elohim.